Hi, this is a video we're making for our ETEC 532 class for our collaborative inquiry project. My name's Heather and I currently live in Hong Kong. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm really interested in multicultural education, not only because I'm a teacher abroad, but because I think it is something that our students need to have done well, and technology is a good way for us to try and incorporate
that. My name is also Heather, and I am in Saskatchewan. And I teach grade 4, although right now I am on maternity leave. And right now it's midnight. We started this an hour ago, so it didn't seem quite as late, but it's now midnight and very dark and very quiet in my house. Yeah, multicultural education. I'm interested in it because I do live in a community that's very middle class and fairly white, fairly Canadian. But in the last 5 years, we've had a lot of Filipino families move into our community. And it has been just a very interesting experience to have all of these Filipino students in our classes learning English and teaching us about their culture as we learn. So that's my interest.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm Rochelle. I guess this is a good opportunity because I'm not currently teaching right now. I go off and on with working with ESL students. I'm also, not at the primary level. I'm working with a little bit older students, which is kind of cool. But I'm interested in having, I guess, more connection with the world around me, and I really don't want to feel that I'm just in this small, very white community that I am. And there's just so much more going on out there, and I don't know, I just enjoy talking to other people. Even this whole experience right now with members all over the place, totally loving it. The fact that you guys are in your own, whatever cultures that you're living in right now, and then you get to share that with me. I'm ecstatic. I think it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Rochelle, I feel the same way about connecting with educators that are in other parts of the world. I think can really extend your teaching practice because you get new perspectives and different ideas. Right now I'm in Luanda, Angola, which is in the west of Africa. It's 7:10 in the morning here, and I teach grade 1 at an international school, so my students are very multicultural, but they also are mostly from upper middle class families. So I guess my interest in multicultural education is trying to get students to appreciate different perspectives and also different situations that people all over the world live in, and trying to find the connections that make everyone similar, regardless of where you're from or what your economic situation might be.
Cool.
One of our questions on here was, what have you done in the past to teach multicultural education? And we hadn't answered that last time, but it is an interesting question. I would say I've not used a lot of technology and read storybooks to my grade 4 students and talked about it, but not been able to have that real world connection that we talked about during this project.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I recognize how important it is, and I have a lot of multicultural stories, and I try to use that a lot with the class and talk about culture. We have a unit about culture, more about their own cultures. But I think doing something like this with the class would be much more powerful than reading a story to them about students in Hong Kong. Instead, they should be able to talk to them.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. I think that just within the humanities subject that I teach, it's pretty constricted by the curriculum that's preset. But I'm lucky that I also teach art and English, and so when I create an interdisciplinary unit, then I'm more able to branch out and find a connection for my students. We also currently blog, so I think the more I look into finding us a class to exchange blogs with or just have comments added to my students' blogs, it won't be that difficult to incorporate more voice from afar or student interaction.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a lot of us have that sort of, kind of what, like a cultural fit into, the regular curriculum. But in the grand scheme of things, it would be much more useful, like you all said, to be able to communicate like we are right now. And I've been trying to set it up, and it never seems to work. With you have connections all over the place, and I've always wanted to set it up in a classroom where, even being back in BC now, and talk to students that I had in Taiwan, and be able to have that connection, even if it's just kind of selfish of me because I'm actually wanting to connect with the students that I had. But it's on the same kind of thing. Like we're sharing different cultures, and I think having face to face is leaves a much more of an impression for sure.
Mm-hmm. A question that I had asked last time is I'm actually teaching in my hometown. I went to school 3 hours away for university and then landed right back in my hometown and have a permanent full-time position, but all of you have traveled all over the world to teach. What encouraged you to do that?
Everybody's waiting for everybody else. I'm just going to go ahead. For me, I guess it was that I just, after going through the teacher training here, I knew that I didn't fit in, and I knew that I wasn't able to connect in the way that I would want to have connected with classes here. And I had, the travel bug, it was kind of happening still. So I was able to fit it all into one, and I find that I just really, I teach English, but I'm just really like working with second language students, just where I'm at.
My reasons were...
Yeah, I have probably half of my... Go ahead, Heather.
Sorry to interrupt. My reasons are a little bit more practical. The cost of living in Vancouver is extremely high, and just when I was hired by the Vancouver School Board, being a TOC, I knew that a full-time position was quite a few years away, and I had student loans at the time, so I went abroad both to have a full-time teaching job, full-time classroom teaching job, but also from a practical standpoint, I needed to pay my student loans off and start saving money.
I was just thinking it's very Canadian of us to be politely waiting for each other to speak. I think being interested in English as a second language is a really important part of culture also, because when language is such a, entwined with culture. So when you're talking to students and teaching them English, you're also teaching them about the culture that's associated with that language. So it's part of multicultural education also.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I also went overseas just because I knew I would never get a job at home, and I like living abroad. I lived in Korea before this, and yeah, it's an adventure.
On our next question, we asked of the articles that you read for our project, and we had read a lot of articles for our project. I'm sure if you guys are like me, you read more than you added to our annotated bibliography. What were you inspired by in your readings? Don't be Canadian, don't be so polite.
Okay, I'll go. The last video we made, I talked about short, and the fortune cookie article I just looked up is by Kirkwood. And I think those are both very good for talking about what you can do in your classroom and the framework. But I was also just remembered, I think two of the articles were about the importance of pre-service teacher training, and teachers themselves need to experience connecting classrooms or the power of collaborating online before they can begin to understand how you would be able to use it with your own students. So I thought that was an important element of the readings too.
I agree, Vina, and I think that's really been demonstrated here today because this is our second attempt at making the video, and in between the first and this attempt, we had quite a lot of technical, not failures, but difficulties just trying to have Screencast-O-Matic record this video. So certainly trying this out now gives me more confidence that if I wanted to do something similar with my students, I know what to expect. Or at least I know some obstacles I might encounter.
Yeah, and it also gave us 45 minutes just to chat while we were waiting for the plugins to download.
Mm-hmm. I read articles, but what I just found edifying, maybe, is that multicultural education is built right into the curriculum, the grade 3 curriculum across Western Canada for social studies is all about multicultural education and communities. And it would be so applicable for a grade 3 teacher to connect with another class of grade 3 students across the world because it aligns so perfectly with the Canadian social studies grade 3 curriculum. And although I teach grade 4, I think that I can sneak it in pretty easily as well. It's so important that our kids have these connections with cultures around the world.
Having created buddies in Canada for my Hong Kong class, though, I think there's also there's lots of benefit in either connecting with younger or older students, and even as Rochelle teaches, university students, they could have very worthwhile conversations with grade 1s or grade 4s or whatever it may be. And it's not necessarily an age thing because you can get sort of a mentorship happening, or there's lots of options there. So I like your idea, Heather, but I just think that just to leave it as open as possible to make it easier. Sorry, and also just to let everyone know, we have about 1 minute and 40 seconds left on this recording.
So we just need something to wrap us up.
I guess maybe someone could just say how they are going to use what we've learned.
I can try. I'm really excited to use what we learned just in connecting with another classroom. We never talked about it, but we all signed up for a program called ePals, which is open to any teacher around the world to sign up for, and they can connect with classrooms around the world. And the great thing about it, about ePals, is you can just sign up for a project that's already made, and it's very clearly made. It has time frames, it has lesson plans. It's so clearly laid out that any teacher could just jump into a project and do it. And there's teachers from around the world that are doing it. It has success, and I'm excited to try it. I won't be able to try it until September, but I think that just gives me an opportunity to prepare for it and get ready. It's a great, great program.
Excellent. Thanks, Heather. We've got 8 seconds. so it's going to shut off while I'm speaking. But I just thought it'd be interesting to hear from everyone